I was a good girl who got married young. I deserved to experience what I missed. My wife said at 40 while demanding an open relationship. So I quietly filed for divorce that week. Now she's lost everything and is begging me to come home. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I was hunched over my laptop at 11 p.m. debugging code for the Henderson project when Sarah walked through the front door. The familiar jingle of her keys hitting the ceramic bowl should have felt comforting, but lately, even that small sound carried weight. Hey, I called out, not looking up from my screen. How was class? Transformative, she replied, and I could hear her setting down her yoga mat with more force than necessary. That word again. Everything was transformative now. I finished the function I was working on and closed my laptop. I got the Henderson project done early. That's another $2,000 toward the house fund. I turned to face her, expecting at least a smile. We'd been saving for 3 years to buy our dream house. We were finally close. Sarah stood in the doorway between our kitchen and living room, still in her yoga clothes. But something in her posture made her seem like a stranger. The house. Right. She ran her fingers through her hair. Sometimes I wonder if we're just checking boxes instead of actually living. What do you mean? I asked, genuinely confused. We talked about this house for months. You picked out the neighborhood. I know what I said. She moved to the couch, but didn't sit down. It's just, Devin was talking about how we sometimes commit to futures that our past selves wanted, not our authentic selves. Devin, the yoga instructor. I'd been hearing his name a lot lately. Devin sounds like he has strong opinions about our mortgage plans, I said, trying to keep it light. He's helping me understand patterns I've been stuck in. Sarah's voice had that new quality I'd noticed over the past few months, like she was reciting something she'd memorized. Limiting beliefs about what a life should look like. I studied my wife's face. We'd been together for 7 years, married for 5. I knew every expression, every mood, every tell. This wasn't Sarah being thoughtful or going through a phase. This was Sarah becoming someone else. Are you happy? I asked. She paused too long. I'm growing. The next few weeks felt like watching our marriage through a slowly fogging window. Sarah started attending women's empowerment workshops after her yoga classes. She'd come home using phrases like toxic patterns and authentic self and emotional labor. Her new friends, mostly divorced women in their 30s and 40s, began showing up at our apartment. I tried to be welcoming. I'd make coffee, ask about their day, offer to order pizza when their meetings ran long. But their conversations always seemed to stop when I entered a room, resuming in hushed tones after I left. One Thursday evening, I was in the kitchen when I heard one of them say, "You're so young, Sarah. Is this really how you want to spend your prime years?" "Mike's a good man," Sarah replied, and my chest loosened slightly. Then she continued, "But sometimes good isn't enough." I stood there holding a coffee mug, feeling like I'd been punched. Good wasn't enough? I worked 50-hour weeks. I took on freelance projects to boost our savings. I supported her career, her hobbies, her dreams. I loved her completely. What more did she want from me? Sarah started staying later at the yoga studio. She'd text that she was processing with her teacher or doing energy work with the other students. When she came home, she'd be distant, distracted, like her mind was somewhere else entirely. I suggested date nights. She said she needed space to integrate. I offered to go to yoga with her. She said it was her sacred space. I asked if we should see a counselor. She said she was doing her own work first. Every conversation felt like I was speaking a language she'd forgotten how to understand. The breaking point came on a Tuesday night in March. I was reviewing our house fund spreadsheet. We were 3 months away from having enough for the down payment, when Sarah sat down across from me at our kitchen table. "We need to talk," she said. Those 4 words landed like ice in my stomach. I closed my laptop and gave her my full attention. "I've been doing a lot of inner work lately," she began, her hands folded in front of her like she was in a business meeting. "I've realized that I've been living someone else's dream instead of my own." "Whose dream?" I asked. "Yours. My parents. Society's." She took a breath. "I love you, Mike. I do. But I'm not in love with you anymore." The words hit me like a physical blow. What does that mean? It means I care about you deeply, but I've outgrown what we have. I need something different now. Something more aligned with who I'm becoming. I stared at her, This woman I'd shared a bed with for 7 years and felt like I was looking at a complete stranger. Are you asking for a divorce? I'm asking for space. For both of us. Her voice took on that rehearsed quality again. I think we should open our marriage so I can rediscover myself. It's not fair to trap each other in something that isn't serving our highest good. The room went very quiet. I could hear the refrigerator humming, the upstairs neighbor's TV, my own heartbeat. Open our marriage, I repeated slowly. Devin helped me realize that I've been suppressing parts of myself to fit into this conventional relationship structure. Monogamy works for some people, but it's not natural for everyone. I need to explore who I am when I'm not trying to be the perfect wife. Devin, of course. And you want me to what? Date other people while you figure yourself out with your yoga teacher? This isn't about Devin, she said quickly, which told me it was absolutely about Devin. This is about growth. About not letting fear keep us small. Lots of evolved couples do this. You could find someone too, if you wanted. I looked at this woman who'd promised to forsake all others, who'd worn my grandmother's ring, who'd stood in front of our families and friends and made vows that apparently meant nothing to her now. I didn't sign up for that marriage, I said quietly. People change, Mike. We're not the same people we were 7 years ago. You're right, I said, standing up. You're not. I went to our bedroom and pulled out the suitcase from under our bed. Sarah followed me. What are you doing? Packing. I opened our dresser drawer and started pulling out clothes. Mike, let's talk about this. You're being reactive. This doesn't have to end us. I turned to face her. Yes, it does. You just told me you're not in love with me and you want to sleep with other people. There's nothing to discuss. You're not even going to try? What about counseling? What about our vows? The irony of her mentioning vows wasn't lost on me. You already broke those when you decided you wanted someone else. I packed methodically while Sarah watched. Clothes, toiletries, my laptop, a few books. I wasn't taking much. This wasn't my home anymore. Where will you go? Hotel tonight. I'll find an apartment this week. Mike, please. I know this is hard to understand, but I'm trying to be honest with you. I'm trying to do this the right way. I zipped up my suitcase and looked at her one last time. The right way would have been to figure this out before you made promises you couldn't keep. The right way would have been to end things before you started something with someone else. Her face flushed. I haven't, don't. I held up my hand. Don't make this worse by lying. I walked to the front door with my suitcase. Sarah followed, crying now. I hope you find what you're looking for, Sarah. I'll be in touch through my lawyer. The hotel room was small and sterile, but it felt more honest than our apartment had in months. I sat on the edge of the bed and made a list on my phone. Find divorce attorney. Open individual bank account. Transfer half of house fund. Find new apartment. Update address with work. Call mom. I started with the attorney. By Thursday, I had a consultation scheduled. By Friday, I'd transferred $47,000 from our joint savings into a new account under only my name. By the following Tuesday, I'd signed a lease on a one-bedroom apartment across town. Sarah called constantly during that week. I didn't answer. She left voicemails that progressed from confused to angry to desperate. Mike, you're being childish. We can work through this. You can't just run away from 7 years of marriage. I made a mistake. Can we please talk? I didn't respond to any of them. There was nothing left to say. The divorce papers were served to her at the yoga studio 2 weeks after I moved out. She called me from the parking lot, sobbing. Mike, please pick up. I know you're getting these messages. This is insane. You're throwing away everything we built. But I wasn't throwing anything away. She had already done that. Through mutual friends, I heard fragments of what happened next. Sarah moved in with Devin at the yoga studio. Apparently, he lived in a converted space behind the main room. She quit her job at the boutique because she said it wasn't aligned with her values. Devin was teaching her about sustainable living and minimalism. What he was actually teaching her, I learned later, was how to live off her savings while he figured out his next move. 3 months after I filed for divorce, Sarah's friend Emma called me. We'd always gotten along well, and she sounded uncomfortable. Mike, I'm sorry to bother you, but I thought you should know. Sarah's in a bad situation. What do you mean? Devin, he's not who we thought he was. There are other women. Sarah walked in on him with one of his students last week. I felt a flicker of something, not satisfaction, exactly, but a grim sense of inevitability. I'm sorry to hear that. She doesn't have anywhere to go. She spent most of her savings supporting his wellness retreat. That never happened. The studio owner found out about the living situation and kicked them both out. That's unfortunate, I said, and I meant it. I wouldn't wish homelessness on anyone, even Sarah. She's too proud to call you. But could you maybe reach out? She's staying with different people every few nights. She's lost, Mike. Emma, I hope Sarah figures things out. I really do. But I'm not the person who can help her with that anymore. After I hung up, I sat in my new apartment and felt nothing. No urge to rescue her. No satisfaction about her situation. Just a calm certainty that I'd made the right choice. The divorce was finalized 6 months later. Sarah tried to contest the financial arrangements. But since she'd voluntarily left our marriage for another man, her case was weak. I kept the house fund I'd worked so hard to build. She kept her freedom. I bought a house that winter. Not the house we'd picked out together, but a better one. A 1920s craftsman with original hardwood floors and a kitchen that actually had enough counter space. I painted the walls colors I liked. I bought furniture that made sense for one person. I adopted a dog from the shelter. A golden retriever mix named Charlie who didn't care about my limiting beliefs or authentic self. My life became exactly what I wanted it to be. Sarah's attempts to contact me started about a year after the divorce was final. First, casual texts. Hey, how are you? Hope you're well. Saw a movie you would have liked. Charlie looks cute in your pictures. When did you get a dog? I didn't respond, but I didn't block her either. I was curious to see where this would go. The texts became more frequent and more desperate. I know I hurt you, but we had something special. Please don't throw away 7 years. I was confused and scared. I made terrible decisions. Can we talk? I miss my best friend. Even if we can't be married, can't we be in each other's lives somehow? She started calling. I never answered, but I listened to the voicemails. Mike, I know you're getting these messages. I've been doing real therapy, not just the spiritual stuff. I understand what I did now. I know how badly I hurt you. Please give me a chance to explain. I see the house you bought. It's beautiful. It looks like you're doing well. I'm happy for you, I really am. I wish I could be part of your happiness again. Devin was a mistake. Everything about that time was a mistake. I lost myself, and in the process, I lost the best thing in my life. I know I don't deserve forgiveness, but I'm asking anyway. She tried reaching out through mutual friends, through my family, through social media. Everyone gave her the same polite but firm message. Mike had moved on. The breaking point came when she showed up at my office. My assistant called to let me know someone was asking for me in the lobby. Sarah Mitchell, she said. She says she's your ex-wife. My stomach clenched. Tell her I'm in meetings all day. But Sarah was persistent. She waited in the lobby for 3 hours. When I finally came down to leave for the day, she was sitting in one of the leather chairs, looking smaller than I remembered. Hello, Mike. Sarah. I kept walking toward the exit. She fell into step beside me. You look good, she said. Really good. I heard about your promotion. Congratulations. Thank you. We walked in silence until we reached my car. I turned to face her, knowing this conversation was inevitable. What do you want, Sarah? I want to apologize. Really apologize. Not just for Devin, but for everything. For giving up on us. For not appreciating what we had. For hurting you. She looked older, tired. Her hair was different, shorter, less polished. She was wearing clothes I didn't recognize, cheaper than what she used to wear. Okay, I said. Apology noted. That's it. What were you expecting? I don't know. A conversation? Some acknowledgement that we meant something to each other. I unlocked my car. We did mean something to each other. Past tense. Don't you miss it at all? Don't you miss us? I considered lying, giving her some hope or some anger. Anything that would suggest she still had power over my emotions. Instead, I told the truth. I missed the person I thought you were. But that person was gone long before you asked for an open marriage. I don't miss being married to someone who didn't want to be married to me. I didn't want to be married to you. I was just confused. Sarah, you told me I wasn't enough. You told me good wasn't enough. You were right. Good wasn't enough for you. But it's enough for me, and it's enough for the people in my life now. People. Her voice got very small. Are you seeing someone? I'd started dating about 8 months after our divorce was final. Nothing serious at first. Just casual dinners and movies with women who knew what they wanted and weren't afraid to want it. Then I met Jennifer at a friend's housewarming party. She was a pediatric nurse, funny and direct, and completely comfortable with herself. We'd been together for 6 months, and I was planning to propose next spring. Yes, I said simply. Sarah's face crumpled. Is it serious? It's honest, I said, which is more than we ever had. That hit her like I'd intended it to. Good. Mike, please. I know I don't deserve another chance, but people make mistakes. People grow. I'm not the same person I was 2 years ago. Neither am I said, getting into my car. I'm better. I drove away without looking back, but I could see her in my rearview mirror, standing alone in the parking lot. That was 8 months ago. She still texts occasionally, usually late at night, usually when she's been drinking. Do you ever think about our good times? I drove by our old apartment today. Remember how happy we were there? I saw Jennifer's Facebook. She seems nice. I hope you're happy. I don't respond anymore. Not because I'm angry, but because there's nothing left to say. Sarah exists in my past tense now, like my college roommate or my first job, a chapter that's closed. Last week, Jennifer and I went to look at engagement rings. She has no idea what happened in my first marriage, and she doesn't need to. Our relationship exists in the present tense, built on honesty and mutual respect and the radical notion that we both want to be there. As we walked out of the jewelry store, my phone buzzed with another text from Sarah. I know you won't respond, but I want you to know that I understand now what I lost. I hope someday you can forgive me. I deleted it without finishing it and took Jennifer's hand. Everything okay? She asked. Everything's perfect, I said, and I meant it. Some people spend years trying to get over their ex. I spent 2 years building a life so good that my ex became irrelevant. Sarah wanted to find herself, and she did. She found out she was someone who would throw away a good thing for a fantasy. I found out I was someone who deserved better, and now I have it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.